Greetings and welcome to the Astronomy Picture of the Day podcast. Today's picture for January 10th of 2025 is titled Young Stars, Dark Nebulae. So what do we see here? Well, here we see a region in the constellation of Taurus, and we can see a lot of dark dust there, dark areas. And those areas are not an absence of stars, but are instead regions where there is excess dust in the area. And that dust blocks out the light from behind us, keeping us from seeing what is behind that area or within the dust. Now the dust is still not dense there for the most part. It is very diffuse, but it is spread over such a large volume that eventually your line of sight will strike a dust particle and therefore keep you from being able to see past it. So how do we find out what is going on inside this dust? Well, one way is to use infrared light. Infrared light, which is longer wavelengths than ordinary visible light, penetrates the dust and can give us a view into these regions. And what we find is that they are regions of star formation. Stars are currently forming here, and that's what we're seeing in this region. Those dark dusty areas are concentrations, and at the center of those would be areas where stars are just beginning to form. Now we can also see very young stars having formed here as well. And those are what is known as T Tauri stars. And we can see one here toward the central portion of the image. And those are stars actually much like our sun, but billions of years ago. Our sun would have been something like one of these T Tauri stars. They are very young stars, still in the process of formation, the very last phases of their gravitational collapse as they start becoming a star. Now the trigger for something to become a star is when the star gets hot enough at its core to be able to fuse hydrogen into helium. So that is the key thing that differentiates a star from what we'd call a protostar, which is the star in the process of formation. Now a T Tauri star itself is not hot enough at its core to be able to begin fusing hydrogen to helium. So it's at a pre-phase of that. It's not quite able to do that. It can possibly burn other elements, other intermediate elements, but it's not quite hot enough to get into fusing the hydrogen into helium. However, some things do fuse at lower temperatures, and that is things like deuterium, which is an isotope of hydrogen, as well as some elements like lithium. So lithium could be one that would do this as well. That would provide a little bit of energy as it's beginning to just get to that stage where it's able to fuse hydrogen into helium. So here in our image, we do see some of those T Tauri stars just forming here in the constellation of Taurus, as well as the dark areas which are still forming protostars, which will eventually then become new T Tauri stars, and then eventually new stars as a new cluster of stars forms in this region. So that was our picture of the day for January 10th of 2025. It was titled Young Stars, Dark Nebulae. We'll be back again tomorrow for the next picture. So until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.